Good morning, Zach.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Fantastic, and welcome to the Power of Great Questions. This is our #1 Power of Great Questions live event for 2021. And Zach, real honour for you to have you on here today. Not for you, for me to have you here today. And I just want to give everyone a quick introduction. Zach, you and I have been working together for some time now, but you're based over in Florida. You've got a digital marketing agency focusing on helping people with paid advertising. But what I really like, and when you were describing what it is that you like to work with what you call knowledge experts and people who do things which matter in the world. And I love that your ideal client, that people you're looking for are people who do things which matter in the world. I think that's very admirable, and I feel very honoured that I'm one of your customers, Zach. So thanks for joining us today. And what time in the night is it over there for you?
7 o'clock, Mark, Melbourne, Florida. So no, I'm excited to jump on this interview with you. And I've always had kind of that jealous streak of watching you fly around Australia, and man, I'm living vicariously through you. There's some of your, in fact, your recent video. It looked like I thought the video was sped up. You were coming in. That was a rough landing.
That was pretty tough landing, that one. I was just about to hit go around, and fortunately it settled and touched down, and I thought, that's it, we'll hold this sucker on the ground.
No, well, yeah, thank you, Mark. It's been awesome working with you, and really, I've been touched by your story. And it was a couple of months ago where you shared a story where I was like, oh, this guy, he really cares about the work he does and the people that have come into his life. So it's an honor for me as well.
No, thank you, man. And Zach, just let's stick on aviation for a minute. You've got a degree of aeronautical science, and you were going to get into the flying business, weren't you? But it was all around 9/11 time, you were saying.
Yeah, in fact, I was playing professional baseball at the time and finishing my schoolwork, but really it was there was a couple of things that really kept me out of the aviation field. I have a red-green color deficiency, supposedly, so that's why I wear blue and black, because I can see those colors. But that was gonna. There were very few jobs for pilots that had that issue, and it's since been. I think they've lifted that ban. But yeah, 9/11 caused pilots to get furloughed at the time. Baseball was coming to an end, and I took a completely different path in life after 9/11.
Yeah. Now, tell me, you actually played professional baseball with the Miami Marlins. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. At the time, we were called the Florida Marlins. But yeah, I played 2.5 years of professional baseball, most with the Marlins, and then I did half a season of independent professional baseball. So, but it was definitely an opportunity of a lifetime. But realized, hey, I wanted to go off and just become a regular person and start earning a living. So it's a tough life because you're making peanuts and you're on the road 9 months out of the year. So it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. No, but a great experience for you. And I know you're still very heavily involved in baseball. You coach, don't you, at the moment? You're always running off, and you've got a team you're very heavily involved with, which you're imparting your wisdom and knowledge to.
Yeah. Coaching's in my blood. I've been a coach really. I ran a gym for athletes for the better part of 14 years. Coached around that, coached various teams, but I'm a college baseball coach now. And it's definitely a way to get out there with the guys and just to stay in shape and try to impart some wisdom. But I think I learn as much from our players and my clients than I do, and than I feel I do as a coach. So it's rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go back a year or so when you and I first met, Zach. We were doing both involved in the Fletcher method, which was a marketing program, I guess. It was certainly when COVID came, I knew I had to change the way I did business very quickly and move from the face-to-face world, which I was so used to online. and I didn't hesitate in grabbing the opportunity to work with you and John in your marketing business. And you've really, people will be watching this on Facebook. You've probably seen the ads that we've been using to promote my book, to promote the Squabble scorecard that we put out some time ago, and certainly to as a way to I guess widen my opportunity to deal with people in rural Australia, to help them with their estate and succession planning. So our relationship goes back to that area, and now you've got your own digital marketing agency. You guys are very good. You're getting great results for me, and I'm very grateful for that. Anything you just want to touch on in regard to that business, Zach, before we get into the power of great questions?
Yeah, to me, marketing is it's another game. It's I think what marketers do is they bring things to market. So to me, it's always a fun problem to tackle. And what I love really about marketing is it's a people's business. It's not. I've always said building the funnel is probably the easiest thing that we do. Building a website, building a funnel, but that's really a very small percentage of what we do. It's really uncovering who you are, Mark, and clients like you, and then how you solve problems for the market. And if it's a person like you is of high integrity, you serve first, man, it's awesome work for us, because we feel like we have a little part in that. So to me, it's been a blast to be doing this agency with clients like you.
Oh, thanks, Zach, and thank you. And I mean, the truth is, when you think back about the book that I've recently released, Succession, Legacy, and Dignity.
I don't have my. Where's my copy? I haven't got my copy yet.
It is coming. It is definitely. It takes a while to fly things from Australia to Florida at the moment, but it is definitely coming. I have signed it, and it's on its way to you. But do you want to talk a bit about how we wrote that book? I mean, the process was, you asked me a heap of questions, didn't you?
Yeah, but it started, Mark, if you recall, with a framework. So you and John had spent a lot of time really unpacking what you do at a deep level, really going granular on that, and then there's so much around each step of what you do to deliver results to clients has so many smaller steps. And then we just look at it like, how does this help a person? Why is this important for them? So it was a fun process to take you through that, because you just got to sit back and relax. And I could tell when you were veering off path, and then I could tell when we hit something that was gold, like when you shared that one story with us. I think we were all in tears at the end of that call, which is what it's about. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's not really about the processes and all that. It's really about the why. That's probably the most important part of all this, including what we did with your book. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, and thank you, and really, but the whole process of the book was, at the end of the day, between you and John. You just kept asking me questions, didn't you? And sure, we'd created a structure. I mean, I had the 9 chapters, the 9 steps in our process. I mean, that's all sort of laid out. But I mean, from that, you pounded me with questions that really dragged from the bowels of the earth, dragged out of me why I do things. How not just how we do them and so on, but why I do them, the relationships that's led me to through life, and also you really dragged out of me what's in my heart and why I do what I do to help people. Sometimes, as I think I said to you, sometimes I've been accused of being a bit of a cattle dog. Once people tell me they there's some issues that they need fixing, I try not to let go. I don't want bad stuff to happen to good people. But I mean, all of this you dragged out of me using questions, and John does it too. Every time, he interviews me, we talk about answers to questions he asked me. Because at the end of the day, and the point I guess we're getting to here with the Power of Great Questions is that if you ask me the right questions, and you can drag out of me, or any client or any person that you're dealing with, and it's not just about work, it's about sporting teams and so on as well. If you can drag it out of me, you're getting my DNA, you're getting my essence, you're getting my truth, and that is what's the most valuable. From my point of view, your greatest value is in asking me the right questions. And I guess that's what spawned this whole idea of the book, The Power of Great Questions, and now this podcast series that we're running. And you're the first one, Zach. I'm really honored that you're the first guy to have in this series.
Well, thank you, Mark. It's to that point, the power of questions. What I've realized, and the same with John, is that it's never the first question that gets us to the destination. That's why we ask. Sometimes we don't even let you off the hook. We'll just keep asking, well, why did you do that? And then what's that little voice that you hear in your head, and how come? You can see it in the micro expression, especially when you're face to face or like this in Zoom. We can tell when it's kind of just a throwaway answer, and then when like we need to, hey, you're onto something there. Tell us more. Why did you do that? Well, what triggered that? So the internal questions that we're constantly asking ourselves is now from a marketing standpoint, that's when we're starting to hit gold. Because if we have 50,000 thoughts a day, I think that's what they tell us, and 95% of those thoughts are the same as they were yesterday. Well, we really need to understand, what is that conversation you're having in your head? What are those beliefs you have about yourself? And then that's why we ask so many why questions, like, well, why did you do that? Because it brings that out. It brings out who you are, really.
So Zach, with what you're doing with the with your digital marketing agency and so on, and I know you're helping a lot of other people with their processes and so on as well. And just as an example, what you've done in the last few months with me, you've helped me write this book. We've then marketed this book on Facebook exclusively, and we've had a lot of people who have taken up the offer to purchase the book and some of the on services as well. And this week we ran a workshop, a webinar, seminar via the web. And we've got a great response from that. A lot of people turned up, more than we expected turned up to watch it, and the response to that, people who have taken up the opportunity to have calls with me afterwards and to sit down and have a half-hour chat, no obligation, free chat, just to see if I can help them with some of the stuff they might be stuck with and so on. I mean, it's just been phenomenal for me, and it just opens up a whole new world of marketing. In our new world, I guess, isn't it? It's not as easy to just cross borders so much anymore and go speak in front of groups of people. So this has been a godsend to us. But you work with a whole range of other people, and I'm going to get back to the sports side in a little while. But when you decide whether or not you're going to work with people, Zach, like, do you have I guess what I'm leading to is, what are the questions that you ask? We all have our favorite questions that we ask people, and what are they for you? What are the 2 or 3 things that you like to ask people, Zach, that turn on lights and help you to understand, one, if you can be valuable, how you can create value for the person you're talking to, and in some ways too, do you want to work with that person? Because questions, whilst they can be valuable, the question you might ask me, it's probably giving you a reflection too, isn't it, of whether or not we're a fit.
Absolutely, Mark. Yeah, I love the question about questions. So, when we enter into a relationship with clients, we're always just, one of my core values is that I have alignment with my clients. So, and to me, the first thing we look for is, does the client we're working with have a servant attitude or mentality? Do they want to serve? And what I love about clients like you is that you have a serve first mentality. Like even the other day, I know you're busy and you have life and you have a business, but you're offering the free chat. And I know that as busy as you are, that's you putting value out in the market first. And so one of the first questions we ask is, do you know who you are? What do you want? And then really the biggest question is, do you feel called in your work? Do you feel like it's on purpose? Is this what you're here to do, or are you just looking for another marketing trick? Because it doesn't work. If you're just looking for something I can go sell online, you're not an ideal client for us, because we're looking for those that have taken this deep and really have spent a good majority of their life becoming masters at their craft. So that's who we love to work with, and it runs the gamut. I've worked with, you're the first, I guess. I would call you you go in and help families. So we've worked with consciousness coaches. We've worked with writers, authors, speakers. I have a client now that runs masterminds all over the world. But all of them across the board come with a servant's mentality, and that's key for us. That's one of my values.
Yep. And so how do you elicit that very quickly out of a conversation with someone? What's the question? Where I'm trying to dig from here, Zach, is what I'd like, people who are watching this is to be able to walk away and say, hey, that was a great question. Can I ask that question in what I do? So, is there a way you, and maybe while you're thinking about it, I love the Dan Sullivan question. And for those that have read the Power of Great Question in the book or watched the YouTube series, my number one question I love asking pretty much everyone is the R factor, the 3-year question. If we're meeting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to have changed both personally and professionally for you to be happy with your progress? That's it. That's the question. And people do one of two things. They'll either answer you or they won't. If they won't, they don't like and trust you. So straight away, that's great because you filter out immediately people who don't want to deal with you, or people probably that you don't want to deal with as well. If they don't trust you enough, they won't tell you. But the other thing is, well, there's 3 options, and the other 2 are, one, they're happy to answer, but they don't know. And what that says is we probably can't help them because they don't even know what their future is to look like. So they don't have a vision of the future, so we can't help them. The third one is I'll sit there for half an hour and just rattle off all the things that they'd want, 3 years from now. These are the ways they'd like to be better off effectively. And it might be personally, professionally, health, relationships, money, business, lifestyle, and all that. And if someone just tells you all that, then you can work out how you can help them. So that's a great question that I use with people in all walks of life, certainly employees, clients, and so on. So I guess, hope I've given you the time, Zach, to come back with what are the questions that specifically you like to ask people?
Yeah, Mark, it's very similar. The question I really ask to elicit that is just it's a conversation. I ask them, tell me what you love, and normally they start with the standard. I love my kids, I love my wife, I love my home, but once we start moving into questions, when they start moving into questions around what they do, their work, that's where I start to hear, are they on purpose? Is this something they really want, or are they just looking to do something to make a quick buck? So the cool thing is when we start asking those questions, then we start to really go deep. Well, why do you love working with clients? Why specifically do you work with families? When we ask you, what I said, this module is so deep. Like, what triggered this? Like, do you have so many frameworks around this? And then you shared the story about Brian. And so to me, that's what we look for in clients is like, tell me what you love. And if they come back and say, well, I think I want to try this business, or I think I want to try this offer, it's like, that's not it. Let's go deeper. Tell me what you love about helping a client get their succession plan in order, or get their mindset fixed, or at least build that awareness. So that's probably the best. That's how we start, and then from there, it just how it is. Things start to pop in your head, like, hey, I want to go deeper with that. Let's ask let's ask a deeper train of questions here.
Yeah, and the power is in prompting that out of whoever you're talking to, isn't it? The power really is in asking a question that makes me think. For you to ask me a question that just makes me think, and I'm, even if I'm squirming and I've really got to dig deep into the back recesses of my mind, what you're trying to get, Zach, and I'm hearing what you're saying, is that it's not the superficial stuff. It's the heartfelt stuff. It's the deep emotional connection that I want to have in the work that I'm doing with my clients. And I've seen so many families fall apart. I've seen so much grief and aggravation. And Brian is, he's my guiding light on all this. And most of you probably heard the story, or it's in the book anyway. So go spend the $7 and buy the ebook, and you'll see the story. But that has motivated me. I've been motivated to help people forever anyway, even back in my life insurance days. But my whole experience with my buddy has just really multiplied by 100 my desire to help people. And as I've said, oftentimes I get I get accused of being a little pushy and so on. But I mean, I come from a really good place. I mean, I come from really having a deep desire to make sure that families are okay. My mission of positively affecting 1 million lives between now and when my time's gone. I mean, that's a real thing. I want to make a difference in life. I want to see families that where mum and dad go, that it's not a squabble, it's not a shit fight, it's not a disaster. Kids still talk to each other. The saddest thing, Zach, for me, and here I'm interviewing you and I'm telling my story, but the saddest thing for me is when cousins fall out because their parents, the siblings of that generation, have had a blue, so all of a sudden the cousins don't talk to each other. I mean, that just breaks my heart. And if I can do something to fix that, then I've done a good job. And
yeah.
So the questions you got out of me that day you were interviewing me on the book, when we're all bloody lying around on the floor crying because I really went deep into my motivation. I mean, that's your secret sauce, which you managed to get that out of me, and that's the value that you brought, which is reflected in the book as well.
Yeah, because ultimately I feel, when we get to the end of our life, the thing we remember most, or what I've been told, and this is from people, and I talk to my elders, and they always say it's about relationships, and what you'll remember most is the experiences, and did you matter? Did you were you passionate? Did you live life to the fullest? It's not about really the stuff we acquire and all that. So I'm always asking questions. Are you passionate about this path? Are you passionate about, even with our athletes, are you passionate about the game? Do you have a goal? Like, is this just to pay for college, or do you actually have a passion to go play in the major leagues? And then around that, there's always, I hope to be a person that has an impact on others' lives, just by and really it's about presence. Be present there for people. Lose your agenda. Sit there and just be present. And that's why when we ask questions, we're present there for you and for our clients, because I think that's the greatest gift we can give the people that matter in our life, is just be present.
Be present and give attention. Absolutely. So let's move on to the baseball for a while. Zach, you played professional baseball, as you said, for the Miami Marlins, which are now under a different name, and now you've taken all that experience, that wisdom, and now you're coaching. So what are the sorts of questions, like how do you, when you first meet with someone who might want to join your team, I'm not sure how this all works, but I mean, what are the questions that you ask someone when you're interviewing them to see if you think they're a good fit for your team?
Yeah, that's a great point. We always
look. That's a great question, is it?
It is a great question. Yeah, we always want to know what's their makeup. Is this person a competitor, or do they have, or they, not in a crazy way, but are they obsessed about the game? But do they respect the game? Do they respect their coaches? So when we and it's the same thing we do with our marketing clients. It's we'll ask a specific set of questions just to see what's this kid made out of, and is he, what's he really doing this for? So normally that comes around, asking, what are your goals? What's your plan? That's the superficial question, but we're looking to see, has this kid actually figured it out? Has he thought that far forward? Because to me, it's really about the intangibles, whether it's business or sports, the intangibles that make a huge difference. And to me, if you're not passionate about what you do, including sports, it just kind of, the writing's on the wall. It's better, why don't you just go start your life somewhere else? I knew when passion was waning for baseball for me personally, and then when it was waning for running the gym, and when it was waning to being a coach. So I've sometimes held on too long, but had somebody been there to ask me questions like, why are you doing what you do, I may have expedited the process. But typically it takes an act of God for me to change paths, and when it does, it comes full force, man. It's like a tsunami. So that's why now I look for mentors and people that have have my best interests in mind, and they're willing to ask me tough questions because I don't want to be left off left off the hook. I want real feedback. I want people to ask me the tough questions for sure.
Yeah, and that was one of the most interesting parts of working with you and John Stringer so far. Zach is I remember early in the piece, John, the linguist specialist he is. I mean, he just kept asking me. He said, "What is it that you do?" And I kind of looked at him. I thought, "You idiot! I do succession planning." But he just wouldn't let up, and he just kept asking me. He said, "No. What do you really do? What do you tell me about your clients? Tell me how you help them. What do they look like when you come in and when they're finished? And what are the biggest issues you solve for them, and so on." And I was convinced when I was describing who I was and what I did that I was a succession planning facilitator, consultant, expert, whatever. And by the end of the exercise, we went back and basically over the last couple of years, probably 95% of people that I've dealt with, what I have done has been conflict resolution. And if John hadn't asked me the questions that he did in the right way and just kept asking until he really got me to think deeply enough about it, because I could give superficial answers, but with good questioning and great questions, he dug out of me that my biggest value that I bring is conflict resolution, opening up communication, eliminating conflict, and helping people get unstuck from procrastination. I mean, they're the three things where I create my greatest value. Once we get people moving, get the communication opened up, and help resolve the conflict, we do amazing things for our clients. So, I mean, that was questions that came from John, which helped me understand where my greatest value is. And I think we all, in business, we need that. We need to understand where's the value that we're creating really being found. And once again, my point is, it's the questions that got that out of me, not just telling me to waffle on. Yeah,
and ultimately, we're all in the relationship business. It's about people, and whether you're a succession planner or a baseball coach or a marketer, it's really about people. People matter most, and that's it's become a value of mine. And we start there. Start with who's the human on the other side of this transaction or deal, and we start there, and then everything takes care of itself, in my opinion.
So, Zach, I'm going to ask you a question. If we were meeting here 3 months from today, looking back to today, how much flying will you need to have done? How much aviation will you need to have done for you to feel happy with your progress?
Man, I'm flying a lot. I'm just in the back. I'm in the back of the fuselage. So when baseball slows down, I'm really passionate about golf right now. But I would love to get back in the air. One of my bucket list items is to get that Cirrus Vision X. Yeah. So I'll come meet you in Australia, Mark, and we'll fly that thing together because it's a beauty. But
we'll go around Australia. There's a lot to see over here, Zach. And you may or may not know this, but Australia is actually just a little bit bigger than the whole United States, Northern America. So, and most people don't know that. They think we're about the size of Texas. So flying from one side of Australia to another is a big deal, and we'll do that in your Vision Jet.
I think your population, because Florida is up, I think we're at 20 million people now. How big is Australia? Is it 20?
I think we're about 23 or something at the moment.
Yeah, so you're about the size of Florida.
Yeah. We're population-wise, we're Florida, but geographically, we're the whole North America. So it's interesting. But look, Zach, time is up, and I just want to thank you. Thanks for being on the Power of Great Questions, and I want to actually thank you for all the questions you've asked me along the way, because you've really helped get out of me the things that I needed to express. So you've been able to help me by marketing me, by just telling my story, by helping people understand who I am, why I do what I do, and so on. John helps me convert from big words to bush words, so that
John's a reality check. John comes in when the funny thing is when we have our meetings, you and I are going back and forth, and then John will come in like 30 minutes into the conversation with this it's like he's come down from heaven. He's like, no, this is it. This is. But he's yeah. No, thank you, Mark. It's been it's like I said, it's a pleasure. I love working with you. It's now I have a ton of respect for what you do, but now I consider you a friend, family. So to me, that's what makes this. That's what makes our weekly calls amazing.
Well, say hi to Marzi, and you guys have a good night tonight, mate. Great chatting with you, and we will talk to you next week, I'm sure. See you, Zach.
Awesome.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
Bye.